do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Ball, cannonball. What do you do when the mountain is there? How do you answer the challenging day? And when your back's against the wall, what do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, cannonball, cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Cannonball. Hey, now cannonball. 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 Cannonball.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 2018 Season 16, round number 8 here at Port Ricard in France. My name is King-Kodiak, and I'll be your commentator throughout this evening's race. It is just myself in the commentary box as my faithful companion, Mr. Hamish Hopwith, has had to work. Damn, real life getting in the way of the important stuff in the world. There we are. Nothing we can do about that, so I will solder on for you guys, you lovely spectators coming to watch. We have got 18 drivers with us this very eve for this race. But before we head down to qualifying, which has just this very second begun, we will head over to our track facts in our usual manner. Let me just cue that up for you, and it'll be that one. Let's get that rolling. There we go. Why is that so quiet? Right, there we go. So then, for this season, we return to France after a long gap for this reworked circuit of Port Ricard. La Castellet makes a grand reappearance on the F1 lineup after an absence from the calendar since 1990. As you can quite clearly see, the circuit has multiple F1 moments inscribed in its history, as the spectacular track has hosted no less than 14 Grand Prix in total since its opening in the 1970s. But a first on the AOR Hype Energy F1 League calendar. Circuit Port Ricard is located in the French province of Var. Apologies if I have not pronounced that correctly. I will probably be told off for that later. Michael Schumacher holds the record for most victories in the French Grand Prix. The German champ's 8 victories between 1994 and 2006 all came at Magny-Cours. See, I'm pretty certain that just the way that there's kind of roads in between roads, as you can quite clearly see on that shot in particular, it will kind of confuse me somewhat. So, Poor access and a remote location impacted spectator numbers, which saw the French Grand Prix disappear from the F1 Canada after the local Motorsports Federation withdrew its financing in 2008. The 2018 GP saw a 4 to 5 hour exit time due to congestion. That's a long old haul for our French F1 fans. That's the tyres available, Hyper, Super and Softs, for this very race. Now, I haven't had input from the drivers on what's going to be favourable. There seems to be some different ideas on 2-stop and 1-stop, what have you, so it's going to be interesting to see, especially depending on the weather. Stay on the lookout for the new Driver of the Day feature. It's currently in beta and will be available to all tiers, leagues, regions very soon. Vote for your Driver of the Day. That will be announced later on. So usually towards the tail end of the race that gets opened up. This is how Le Castellet is laid out. 2 DRS zones, 2 detection zones, 15 turns. Now, I have seen a version of the track map. I was hoping to squeeze that bit in before that particular part popped up, and I was not quite quick enough. But I have seen a version of the track that has the names of the corners on, as opposed to the numbers. But I do not. I have no idea how to pronounce them properly, so didn't run with that. So, without further ado, let us head trackside and see what is happening with our drivers. We are in the qualifying session. As you can see, 3 minutes have gone, and not yet a time on the board. Oh, Tunisia, that's going to be interesting. He's not had a good start, and Formula Danny has left. Have we got a problem? Do we have... we might have a restart due. Now, it is in the rules, if we have a particular amount of drivers leave the session or are forced out of the session, a restart is made. No times on the board, no one is out on circuit at present. Oh, did I say Hypersoft? I apologize. It was Ultrasofts, yes. Brain said one thing, mouth said another. Sorry, it was well spotted there, ain't it? So I am going to just get an update from one of our guys' server side and see what I can find out on this one. So we'll just get that running. I shall... Aha! I think we are having a restart. Yes, we are having a server restart. So apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. A technical problem has prevented us from starting. Oh, that should be there. Beg your pardon. Do bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, as we will get this underway as quickly as we can. A technical delay is in place. Apologies there, but gremlins do strike from time to time. So I shall be back with you when the session has already started. Okay, it looks like our drivers are getting out onto circuit this time. So, whatever technical gremlins affected us first time round do not seem to have persisted, which is always nice to see. Who shall we follow? Alvaro Caraton in the Williams is out there doing his thing so far. Not the first car on track, as you can see. Just a slight adjustment there. Apologies for that. Most cars coming out on track, as you can see, relatively early on. Everyone running the Ultras. Now, the weather has changed. Last time around, we were due for all dry. However, I've been informed that we should be expecting race towards the end of the race. The race towards the end of the race? I would hope to have the race before that. Rain towards the end of the race was what I was meant to say. Words fading me. Not good for a commentator. It's been a long and busy weekend. So, who shall we? Alvaro Caraton is looking to get his first ad lap underway. Oops, stutter there. Apologies there. Do let me know it. Wow, that's struggling a little bit. Let me just double check. That's I'm not sure whether that's my side or Carray's side. So hopefully not for me. We will see. Let's follow him on board with his first time lap then. Coming across the line, heading over hard to the right-hand side, halfway over the line, but still legal for the sweep in for turn 1, and then sweeps through turn 2, runs over the rumble strips, then keeping it nice and steady. That'll be interesting when it turns very wet. Through 3, 4, and the short spurt down to the second gear right-hander of the second of 5 rather, but he ran a little bit too wide. Then 6, sweeps through 7, keeps it on the road. Now the long straight, you can just see that goes on forever towards the slight kink of 8 and 9. They would just run all the way down if they could. But no such luck. And this is where the track layout can catch out the unsuspecting, but of course this is the top tier of PC racers here at AOR. So these guys have practiced this through and through, especially if they were taking part in the F1 Esports Series this year, as this track did feature. Through 10, through 11, the ever-tightening long right-hander. Oh, and that's a little bit wide again for Carey. Into the slow turn 12. This is again where the road layout can get a little confusing for the unsuspecting. Through 13 and into 14, and then for the down all the gears for the very tight turn 15, and I can imagine there will be a few people that might get the exit of that particular corner wrong. And first time on the board, no, as I thought Carey had in his lap. I thought he had. We saw him wander a little bit wide, but Carey them. He will be on his way. We'll hopefully see a time from him fairly soon. A few people getting sector 3 wrong. That's turns 11 through to 15, so that's exceedingly twisty. So we'll have a few of those. Vito has joined the league in the Haas. Non-runners the first to get a time on the board in the Red Bull. There is 129.569. Then it is Garrix 129.642. Then the Photon in the Ferrari 130.645. with most people out on track. Only a few people not on circuit. Denoso, Timp, Nobody, and Matt Sorensen. We haven't seen him for a while. He returns to our side. Only a couple of drivers short, actually, of a full grid this time around. Now, Vito, as was previously mentioning, he's just come back into the pits, is a new driver. He replaces Mark 313, who is no longer in this league after an incident from Canada. So Vito, new driver in the Haas team. But the momentum very much with our two Renault drivers, David Tanita and Daniele Haddad, who lead the way in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships fairly comfortably, but not unattainably. Of course, we're not halfway through the season yet, so we can't be calling champion just yet. Non-runner still on the top spotters. Wycombs slots into third position, 129.908. Just been demoted by Marek, who has got a time of the 128.813. Still everyone running the Ultras. No one going for a harder tyre run. Who's missing this week? That is a very good question. I forgot to look before coming in. We are missing Frey Schneider's teammate. Nope, brain's dead. I can't think of who the second... That's terrible of me. And we're 8 rounds in. I should know this off the top of my head, and I'm afraid I don't. And we are missing, I think it's the other Haas. Oh no, the other Haas is on pole at the moment. Wow, 129.813. That is quite a gap. 7/10 ahead of non-runner. Decent effort there. Now that pit entry is very, very slow and could well catch a few people out. I do apologise for that stutter there. It's nothing I can do anything about. I can only apologise for it. So yeah, we're missing one of the Saubers, and the other one is... It's a Toro Rosso we're missing. But I'm afraid I can't remember who off the top of my head. Oh, Slick. I should have known that. And Woodford, thank you. There's our two drivers. Yeah, you can tell me off for that, Slick. You are absolutely right to despise me, look down on me for such a mission. Let's have a look at Denoso. He's come to the end of his lap, actually. Oh, Caraton is coming out on supers, so he's looking to play a bit more of a tactical game. Where is Denoso at the moment? He is coming towards... Now, that's the final turn. Now, I confess I'm not 100% familiar with this track. It's, of course, being new to 2018. Denoso not getting a time on the board, but he's just starting his time lapse, so he should be... We'll keep an eye on him, but also I want to see how Matt Sorensen stacks up. We haven't seen him for quite some time, so it's going to be interesting to see how he slots into the order, particularly here with a track that isn't, doesn't have the same kind of almost like muscle memory. There's certain tracks, Spa, Silverstone, Suzuka. There's numerous tracks that are just known to any racing fan, and therefore there's that element of familiarity. Of course, Paul Ricard does not have that. As stated in the track facts, it's not been raced on for a while. It was heavily reworked for this season, so everyone's kind of learning it from scratch. So this is going to be really down to how well our drivers can adapt to how to this particular track. And Vito's come out on these super softs as well. Interesting. A couple of drivers going for the longer strategy, maybe going for a longer first stint. But, as mentioned earlier, we are expecting rain towards the end of the race. Now, I've seen it before, but the rain doesn't arrive early enough. We've had it where it arrives much, much earlier than people are expecting. So we will have to see how that pans out. Where is... A lot of people coming out to get their bank out laps in. Just over 9 minutes to go. That is one man. That's where is Danny at the moment? He's just come through 12 and 13. Now, Danny will be very familiar with this particular circuit. He was one of the eSports drivers, of course, that took part in this race for the eSports series that took place a few weeks ago. Danny is invalid lap from the Mercedes driver. So even the best, even the greats make mistakes. Everybody except for Jan Failer is out on track. Interesting that Jan's leaving it very late, and he's opted for super softs. Or if he does choose to come out, he's opting to go with super softs. Interesting. It's also going to be interesting to see where Alvaro Carrington stacks up. So, again, we will see where Alvaro Carrington slots in the Williams. Marek coming out again. He's not resting on his laurels on that time. It looks like he's coming out the Ultras. Let's see where Carey slots in. That is... I would imagine that's a bank lap 136. I know the Super Softs are a bit harder than the Ultras, but not that badly. Matt Sorensen slots into 7th with a 31.092 at the moment. Not enough fuel to do another one at the moment, but plenty of time. Right behind his teammate, Donoso, whose lap was invalid. He jumps out of the way to let Sorensen through. Bit of an odd one, because neither of them are on a time lap, but there we go. That's the nature of the beast. Who else shall we pick up? Where's Vito? He's out there on a time lap. Again, on the Super Soft tyres. I'm curious to see where the Haas slots in. Big load of wheel spin off that. Oh, and that's one of the McLarens. One of the McLarens going into the pit lane you saw in the background. Vito slots next to his teammate with 128.994 on the Super Soft tyres. Well, I would expect to see that top time come tumbling down then, if that is the case. Now, I wonder how many people are really going to be playing the weather, gambling on when the weather's going to arrive. There might be a number of people hoping that it arrives sooner rather than later, so they stick with, for instance, the Super Soft tyres. No one is even bothering with the softs at this stage, and I'm not surprised. As we see Vito on that long straight heading towards turn 9. There it is. Just as I say that, Carey gets a new pole time of 128.462 again on those Super Soft tyres. So I wonder whether those that are setting decent laps on the Super Softs are hoping the rain arrives sooner rather than later. We will see how that pans out. Of course, no one knows. You know that it's coming. You have a rough estimate on when, but it's... Yeah, it's the game is set to dynamic weather, so that could be at any point, basically from halfway. Preschneider, I beg your pardon. Now, he very kindly did tell me that I was not too far off getting his name right, and which is not bad for an Englishman. I'll take that. Wycombs is out there. Is he on a time lap? No, he's on red fuel. He'll be bringing that one in pretty slowly. Now, you see how sharply the pit lane entrance is. Now, the drivers, I've been told, to make it very, very obvious, get off the racing line if you're coming into the pits. Now, of course, they're coming off of that first gear right-hander, turn 15, the final turn. So they're already at very slow speed. Now, if we just ride on board with Wycombs, as I said, now you see there, they're already at slow speed. Get off the racing line quickly. Don't just drift into the pit lane, is what they've been told. Otherwise, they run the risk of basically collecting someone by accident. Oh, that's one of the Williams pair. That can't be Tim because he's in the pits. Therefore, that is Carrington. There's staying out of non-runner's way, but non-runner not on a timed lap. Nobody is coming out, which is always a strange sentence to say. I'm sure Ross loves that one. Chromatic. Now, a lot of people without time on the board. I'm curious about that as well. Half the field without a time on the board. So there's Formula Danny, Donoso, Tim, Freischneider, Chromatic, White Lilac, Haddad, Tenisa, and Failer. A lot of people leaving it. So we've got 4.5 minutes to go. So it's pretty much, you've got to nail it. And absolutely everybody is going for those super soft tyres. No one is going for the Ultras. Interesting. Interesting. Let's have a look at Chromatic in the McLaren. We haven't seen him for a bit. And he comes across the line to start his time lap. Let's ride on board with him. As we saw earlier from Vito. Oh, and he's got that all wrong. That's completely wrong for Chromatic already. And that has been that one. Oh, dear. Completely misjudged his breaking point there. Oh! Did Chromatic have a problem? Oh, okay. That's just a quicker way of getting back to the pits. If you've already invalidated your lap, get back to the pits pronto, because he's only got, barely over 3.5 minutes. Interesting. Those lines on the floor really kind of mess with your head a little bit. Daniele Haddad is just coming across the line to start his time lap. Of course, the Renault pair at the top of the championship. Oh, that's someone coming out of the pits. That was Wycombs. He was observant. He saw that the Renault was storming down the road, coming into turn 1 through 2. Keep it nice and settled over to the left-hand side for the 3, 4, 5 complex. Here he goes. There's 3. There's 4. Ever decreasing in speed. Stays hard over to the apex for 4. Gets in as a... Oh, and he's off already on 5. And that's going to catch a few people off. Then through 6. He's keeping his foot in it, though. DRS open on the Renault. On that long straight. Can't see who that is. Yellow flags out in the sector. Someone's just misjudged this section. He's keeping it. He's keeping on the road his Haddad, so maybe the lap time wasn't invalidated. Oh, nah, there it is now. And just to show, even the even the Renaults are getting it wrong. So, ooh, only 2.5 minutes to go. This is going to be very, very busy. Everyone except for Mads Sorensen, Carrington, and Marek on track at the moment. Oh no, I say that, and Carrington's just come out. He's going to have to hurry. Obviously trying to catch a clean bit of track. Formula Danny, our season 14 champion. Oh, he's just slammed on the anchors. He wants to give himself a bit of space now. Oh, he's warming up his tyres, but he's locking them up. So that doesn't look a great warm-up then for the Mercedes eSports driver. But here he comes then. We'll try and get a complete lap with someone. And there's yellows out in 1 and 3. So people having to take evasive action here, there, and everywhere. But here comes Formula Danny. Over to the right on the rumble strips. Goes over the apex nicely of 1. Sweeps through 2. Just keeps it within the white lines. Storms on down to 3, 4, and 5. Here we go again. We've seen this session catch out pretty much everybody. And Tunisia up to 3rd. If he's got enough fuel in the tank, he might go for a second run, but he will not be on pole with that one. Vito jumps up to 4th with a 28.994. Formula Danny is keeping it well and truly within the lines. Matt Sorensen's come out from that lap, but unless he floors it, he won't have time to complete it. Oh, who's that that's in front of Danny? It's Marek. Get out of the way. And he does. Marek taking a few braking balls with him as well. Through 8 into 9. Oh, keep it steady. And he does indeed. That left-hander doesn't have a corner number for some reason. Storms on towards 10. Marek is coming out. He definitely won't have time to complete that out lap. Everybody then out of the pits. Through 10, not a corner they need to worry about. Then an ever decreasing radius right-hander of 11. Reminds me of China a bit like that. There was someone getting out there. There was nobody with the Toro Rosso, a lone Toro Rosso driver. Oh, just about keeping that one on the road. It's Formula Danny. He's down to 14th now, as most people. Chromatic up to 2nd without 28.567. Great effort for the McLaren. Here comes Formula Danny into the last corner. What can he do? Stamps on the gas. Straight lines it to the line. Where does he come? It is pole by 0.05 of a second between himself and Carrington. Haddad 4th, Tunisia 5. So the Renault pair really down the order. Wow, goodness me. Great effort by Formula Danny to get that one on the pole spot. Donoso down in 17th. He's completing his lap. The checker flag is coming out any second. The flag is out. So, it is on White Lilac and Fabrizio Donoso to get a decent time on the board. What does Donoso do in the Force India? Let us see. Vito will start 10th, 128.994, and it is 5th for Donoso, 128.624. Wowee! What a great effort for him to jump up there. Where's White Lilac, the only man without a time on the board? He is coming into, I think that's... Need to get my bearings on where they are. That's 14, I think. No, that's 12, beg your pardon. Oh, just about keeps it on the road now. The long sweeping 13. Into 14. Can White Lilac get his car towards the sharper end? Let's see what he's able to do. And it is an invalid lap. He will start last in the Ferrari. Well... Now that I did not expect coming. Tim starting in 10th. A terrible effort for him, but he will have to take it. This track really catching out, people. Real shuffle over the order. Oh, this is going to make a fabulous race, especially when the rain falls. I wonder how many people have actually practiced this track in the wet. There is Marek, a Formula pole sitter, getting a toe off for someone. And he jumps up to 3rd with it, 128.552. Good effort. Only... Oh, look at the top 4. Not even 2/10, and only just slightly more than 2/10 for top 5. Goodness me, half a second is first to 14th. So a brilliant pace by our top drivers as always. Everybody, I think, has crossed the line. They have, so no one is actually setting a time. So that is going to be your qualifying order. Danny on the front row with the Williams of a Ricard. Oh, wow. Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting. I am looking forward to this. This is Marek. Oh, he's pushing the AI Freshenator along. As I say, that looks a little bit close between the Sauber and the Haas there. Oh, lovely. Oh, and the Red Bull now joins the conga line. Well, well. There we go. The last person confirming that they have retired from session. Great effort then from Marek in the Haas. Starting in third position as you've just seen. Right, confirmation of the qualifying results. When we get that in, we shall go through them. Hopefully in time. 18 drivers in this one. Then there it is. Formula Danny on pole. Then less than a tenth to Carrington. Then Marek and Chromatic on row 2. Donoso and Haddad row 3. Tunisia Photon row 4. Sorensen and Timp in row 5. Freshenator Wycombs row 6. Vito Gerex row 7. Failer and Nobody in row 8. And Non-Runner and White Lilac bringing up the rear of the field. Well, well, well. So what we gather from the weather is a dry start, rain towards the end, but that could be at any given point from halfway. So it could be half the race, it could be 2 laps. We just do not know. That's the joy of dynamic weather. So that's something, again, our drivers are going to have to kind of contend with. So, heading on down to our parade lap. Our drivers will, we all know the sequence by now, they'll do the parade lap under slower speeds, warming up the tyres and brakes and what have you. It always worries me when this particular moment, until that first tick comes in, which was Carrington, and now our driver's just readying up. So at this moment, it's any setup alterations they want to make, now is the opportunity to do so. This is what the time lapse is for. Of course, it doesn't apply to me. There's no way I would be in tier 1. Were I driving, I would be, you know, bottom tier -1. I'm not a driver. I've tried my hand at driving other things. Single seaters is well, yeah, but less said about that the better. Here we go then. The drivers get underway. As I for the parade lap, this is not race start, as a reminder. It looks like Formula Danny is wanting to get on with it. He doesn't want to lose any time, but they'll be under Delta. They can't go too hard through it, although he does look like he's really wanted to get on with it. It's not a particularly long lap. It's not like it's Spa or, you know, Nordschleife or anything. He doesn't have to go that hard in the parade lap, but he's not wanting to lose any time. But ironically, a bit of a gap forming second to third. What an effort there from Marek. Very, very impressive. Chromatic 4, you'll be quite happy with that. Donoso is in the Force India. He'll be quite happy. He's ahead of the Renaults. I would imagine Tunisia and Haddad are not best pleased with that. As I say, we're used to seeing them towards the top end of the field. Photon in 8th. Matt Sorensen, he's not a bad effort considering he's missed quite a number of races for one reason or other. Now that I'm not surprised to see. Most of 11th and downwards going for the softs, as they of course had free choice of tyres they could use, having qualified outside of the top 10. That I'm not 100% surprised to see. Marek is the only one on ultras. That was of course the tyre he qualified on. With how tight that top field is, I mean, he would have certainly lost 2 or 3 places if he'd run the harder tyre potentially. Not necessarily. I mean, different. Just because the tyre is harder doesn't mean you guaranteed lose 3/10 or anything. You know, different drivers adapt to the different tyre compounds in different ways. He's the only man on ultras, so he'll be the first man in the pits, I would imagine, unless he wishes to detonate his tyres. We will start from Fabrizio Donoso, as the drivers now under AI control as they reform the grid to get this race underway. Where's White Lilac? He's just getting to his grid spot. Here we go then for the race. And the 5 lights are coming on. There is 5. It is time to wind them up and let them go. A great start then by the Mercedes of Formula Danny then, as everybody starts shuffling around for that's Donoso looking to try and attack the house coming into the first turn. Chromatic has gone up into third, so that's softer tyre strategy for Marek has not worked well. There's Tunisia that's gone off the road. He's fallen down to 8th position. A terrible start then for the second runner, who's going to squeeze around the outside of Photon, which he does. Very nicely done to regain that position. Photon then under pressure from Timp coming through 5 and into 6. The top guys are now settling into their rhythm. Look how close the Renaults are. That's very, very close. Looks like everybody kind of made it through. Oh, I thought that was Jan Failure flying off into the wall. That may have been a little bit of lag there. Looks like everybody is still pressing on. No discarded bits of carbon fibre just yet. And of course, we've got battles going on here, there and everywhere. It's going to be impossible for me to keep up with all of them. Marek has not gone well for him. Bearing in mind he's on those ultra soft tyres. He needs to be clearing people and getting off into the distance. It's not gone well for him, sadly. But he is hanging on to the top 3 as best he can. But that looked like Carrots has really put in the pressure. Oh, and you saw Chromatic locking up there. He had to get out of that. I think Carrots had braked a little bit out of position for where Chromatic was expecting. And he just had to slam on the anchors to prevent slamming into the back of the Williams. Here they come then, through 13 to complete the first racing lap into 14, and the Williams is really keeping himself very, very known through the final turn. And here we go, streaming on down towards, and Formula Danny, of course, getting that first lap on the board. Being our race leader, stream is a little bit laggy. Oh, goodness me, yes it is. Damn. I'm going to quickly try and fix that. Do bear with me. Right, we should be resuming. Hopefully that will behave itself a little bit more. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. No one has fallen off the road, I don't think. White Lilac is up to 13th now, but we'll have a look at him in a minute as Carey is was again almost getting side by side to Formula Danny. Still pressuring for that lead. Thank you for the update there, Alex. I'll try and keep an eye on where people are. Chromatic is really keeping the pressure on the top 3 as well. Marek is a little bit fallen off a little bit. Oh, that's Carey's gone a little bit wide. I know that's the never-ending right-hander there of 11. I do wonder whether Carey was going to come off the road. It didn't happen that way. There you see, that's Donoso that is now on the back of Marek. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the best of Marek's tyres have already gone. And then look at that. That's Tunisia and Haddad right on the back of Donoso. Just need to quickly change the window. Apologies there. There we go. Danny again getting the fastest lap. That's not a surprise, but he has not been able to shake the tails behind him. And that's the view from Tunisia in 7th. And there you see the leader going into turn 1. And there's barely even 2 seconds between 1st and 7th at the moment. As you can see, well, there we go. There's not even 3 seconds between 1st and 7th. So no massive gaps then. So it looks like no one's had to come into the pits just yet. That's refreshing to see. Everybody, with the exception of White Lilac, would have DRS at this point in time if it was available to them. Very, very close racing. Oh, problem in sector 1. Oh, is Jan Failure in trouble? And Jan Failure and non-runner in trouble. Oh, no, no sooner do I say that, we then have impact between the Red Bull and the McLaren. So that has sent both of them to the tail of the field. And Marek is now out of DRS range of this man, Chromatic, who is, again, having a great run. Streaming on down the long straight. Well, not quite as long straight as the other one, but you know what I mean. And again, look at how defensive Formula Danny is having to be coming into turn 10. He's not trusting that Carrington wouldn't just slick the stamp and send it. They now come through 11. Chromatic just kind of biding his time there. As White Lilac and Vito swap positions, or they're having their battle. I always try and catch up with the battles as best I can, but at the moment, keeping a very firm eye on this battle towards the front end. Donoso has demoted Marek. You just saw the Force India there in the background. He's gotten ahead of Marek. There is the house. Does he come in? No, he doesn't. He's just got a massive stream behind him. Chromatic is the man with the fastest at 133.112. Coming into the first turn again. Carrington is just... Oh, and that was... You just saw the nose of the McLaren nearly get into the diffuser. Oh, Marek, no. That's just rather indicative of the tired life. Goodness me. Hello, Carrington. Nice to see you. Just trying to throw that on the inside of the Mercedes. He's trying everything to get past Formula Danny. A little bit wide there. He probably would have got a warning for that. Coming through turn 6 into 7. Oh, bit of a freeze there. Apologies there. But he's going to get DRS open. Here he comes. He's going to try and move on the inside of the way. Danny does not defend it. That's the lead for Varric Carrington. He's got that done even before he gets to the braking zone. That is a new race leader there now. Varric Carrington in the Williams right there, but not too far behind. Actually, Donoso's got a pretty good view of this battle behind him. It looks like Daniele Haddad and the two, well, in fact, both of the Renaults very close to Marek. There they are. Oh, this could get interesting coming into turn 10. The Renaults nearly side by side. This nearly swapping positions, but did not quite happen. There you see Tim is on the back of the Williams as well, on the back of the Renaults. Wow, goodness me. Chromatic then keeping the pressure on Veloci Formula Danny. Will Carrington be able to run off into the distance, or will this race be controlled by the use of DRS? We will see as the race unfolds into the very slow turn 15. Come our top 3. Big amount of wheel spin there. Look behind as Carey gets the new fastest lap, and Donoso gets the new fastest lap. There's Tim putting pressure on Tunisia. Doesn't quite pull off. Then there is Garrix in the second Mercedes trying to do a move on Matt Sorensen. It is going off absolutely everywhere, and Donoso has indeed caught this pack of 3. The Conga line for the lead gets ever longer. There's a 2-second gap between Donoso and Haddad. Haddad now through into 5th position. Oh, wow. This is usually where things start settling down. I don't think we're going to have anywhere near that. You can see with the timing gaps that non-runner has been into the pits. If Failer came, I think Failer has been in. Oh, no, Failer hasn't been in, beg your pardon. So, non-runner going on to those soft tyres. He's going to go on as long as he can. And that's Marek and Tunisia side by side. Oh, look at that. There's nothing left in those ultra softs. So it's just a easy sweeping move on the exit of 9 for Tunisia to fly through into 6th position. And you see Matt Sorensen there is side by side with Photon coming into 10. And then he's got Garrix and Freischneider for company in very short succession. The Sauber looking to get on the inside of the Mercedes behind. Oh, wow. Battles absolutely everywhere. Love it. That's basically 1st to 12th that's generally fighting someone. The only gap is 4th to 5th. But I do wonder, the more that these top guys are fighting, I wonder if Haddad's going to close in. Same way that Donoso did on the top 3 to start with. As we can see, you can see on the overlay, Garrix and Freischneider, Matt Sorensen, and oh, Marek is in. I didn't think those Ultrasofts would last much longer. That is the... What a shame for Marek. The strategy gamble he made didn't quite pay off, but what a great helicam here. We have of the top 4, 2.5 seconds separates Donoso and Haddad, 4th to 5th, but very little. It's barely even, jumping in between 3 and 5 tenths for these guys in between each one. Here we go then on the DRS straight. And look at the drive that Carrington had. What a great effort he's done there. He's really going to keep the Mercedes, unless the Mercedes tries the biggest dive bomb in the world, which of course he doesn't, but look how close the Force India is behind the McLaren. He's very much keeping his presence known in the mirrors of the McLaren. The McLaren trying to do something against the Mercedes. And as they now stream on down towards turn 10 again, that's going to allow Carrington to start to stretch his legs. If Danny's going to have to start defending for Chromatic. But he wants Donoso to get involved in the battle. Nice drive on the exit of 11 for the Force India, and Chromatic's got that slightly wrong. Donoso tried to make a dive on the inside, but well held from the Force India. Massive snap of oversteer, which the esports runner caught brilliantly well. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is Haddad. He's gained 3 tenths in this lap. Tunisia is at 1.8 behind here, but he's got Tim for company. That's 5, 6, and 7. Matt Sorensen on there with Photon as well, 8 and 9. I think Garrix and Freischneider 10 and 11. So the battle's now finally beginning to spread out. Here come the top four. They're keeping an eye very much on these guys. And again, see Donoso trying slightly different lines, particularly coming through these slower sections to try and make a move on Chromatic. Oh, that's close. Onto the long back straight. Everybody's going to have DRS, but look at that. That's Danny making himself known in the mirrors of Carrington, but he just does not have... He's just not close enough. He's not gaining enough on the lead Williams. There you see the lead Renault. That's still 2.8. So Haddad's not closing in on this top four as yet. Tibb is keeping himself in contention right behind Tunisia. There is the second Williams behind the second Renault as they come through the closing down. The closing down, what am I saying? Oh, Freischneider's in trouble. Freischneider's gone off at turn 11 and just one mistake. It's not like he hit the wall and suddenly he's down to 14th. That's just how costly a mistake is with the field being so closely condensed. Here we go again. You can see Formula Danny is trying his best to reel in Alvaro Carrington. I know I'm concentrating a lot on this top four, but they're so close towards one another. We've done 7 laps and they haven't dispersed yet. Oh, Chromatic. It looks like he's struggling for traction a little bit. His tyres beginning to give way. Vito getting his name on the penalty board. Oh, yeah. You can see Chromatic really struggling to keep his car in between the white lines. Aren't coming through that long turn 6. Let's see, is Danny going to be able to do anything? I don't think he is. No, he's too experienced to try and throw it on the inside like that at turn 8 from that far back. Now 3 seconds separates Haddad and Tunisia. I wonder if Haddad's picked up a little bit of wing damage. My co-commentator Hamish, who would be with me, but unfortunately he's working. He would normally be running the application to be able to tell us that, but no such luck as I'm solo casting tonight. Oh, no, that's a notification. Apologies for that. Donoso continues to pile on the pressure and Vito's in trouble. Vito, he's made a mistake. That's dropped him by 4. Oh, look at that. That's Freischneider and Wycombe side by side, and along with... Oh, that's not good for... That is not good for Vito. He's really, really struggling. What has happened to the Haas? He's falling badly through the field. It has all unravelled for him. A great shame. And Tunisia is in. Now that I did not expect so soon. I thought these Supersofts would go on a bit longer than that. But no, possibly not. There's White Lilacs in as well. Along with Vito. Well, we saw him and Vito's out. He's brought his car into the pits. He's had something that was really he was struggling to deal with on that particular car. So Vito is out, our first casualty of the evening. Oh, here comes Donoso. He's going to try and make a move on Chromatic. Oh, goodness me. Nearly it rounds into the diffuser of the McLaren. Donoso had to get out of that, and that loss of momentum. And Vader gets his name on the penalty board. That is quite rare. We don't often see the McLaren veteran with his name on the penalty board. But unfortunately has happened for him. The background just saw Photon and Photon and Matt Sorensen. White Lilac getting his name on the penalty board. Now he's just swapped onto ultra soft tyres. Oh my goodness! Fabrizio Donoso trying to move on the inside of the turn 11, still side by side with the McLaren. They now come through 12 and well defended by Chromatic. Very nicely done. Oh, forgive me. Donoso not looking to let go of the back of that McLaren at all. And look at that, Danny rather has been gaining on Carrington. Carrington is in the top. The rest of that top 4 is continuing on their merry way. That's going to be interesting. Haddad in as well. Everybody's swapping onto the soft tyres, so they're not looking to come in again unless they have to use the rain tyres. So we will see if... it all depends on when the rain falls. If it falls too late... Oh! Matt Sorensen of the Force India gets his name on the penalty board as well. He's now up to 5th with the pit stop strategies playing out. Photon in as well. Oh, Timp. That just goes to show how difficult this track is, but Chromatic does not have DRS to defend with, and that's surely going to be a straightforward move for the Force India. Here he comes. Donoso comes through. Chromatic just jumps into the slipstream, but he had no answer to that. We've been seeing him struggling for grip for quite a while. Oh, wow. As Donoso slides his car through that turn 9. But now he's got to defend from Chromatic. We'll see what he's able to do. And looking at when everyone else has come in, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the rest of the Supersoft runners coming into the pits. Somebody asked if we could turn the game engine up. I will do so for you. That should be a little bit louder for you. .3 separates the first two now. Not even half, well, just over half a second rather, between the Force India and the McLaren. There goes Danny, there goes Donoso and Chromatic. As I thought might happen. So what does Tim choose to do? He looks like he's coming in as well. He does. Matt Sorensen can't come in because his teammate is already there. So he's got no choice. He has to continue. Garrix is exactly the same. He has to continue another lap whether he likes it or not. Freischneider with Wycombs on the back. So these guys on the soft tyres now. This is going to start coming good for them. They can easily expect. And Tunisia getting his name on the fastest lap board. He's down there in, he's just been elevated to 10th. As Chromatic comes out in 11th. Formula Danny appeared in 7th. Donoso 8th. And Chromatic 11th. So it wasn't such a good stop then for the McLaren. As he comes out ahead of his teammate. Actually, the McLarens are pretty much side by side. There we go. Look at that. That's Marek in 13th. In that shot up to Donoso in 8th. So they're not too far apart on varying amounts of tyre life. Failer's been on those for a while. Of course, he came in very early on. Wycombs is still nailed to the back of Freischneider. This is 3rd and 4th. Essentially, it is race lead and 2nd, as Matt Sorensen and Garrett yet to come in. We will see then how Freischneider continues to defend against the McLaren, as Marek has just gone through on Failer for 12th. I wonder if... I wouldn't think that Failer is going to be struggling for tyre life just yet. I would imagine the top two are. Let's see what they're up to. Matt Sorensen is currently leading, but I would imagine he's going to come in. One of them does. Yeah, they both came in. That's not a surprise. So, oh, there's a braking ball that's gone. So, our new race leader is the Sauber of Freischneider, then being chased by Wycombs in the Red Bull. There you see nobody in the background. Carey, though, on much softer tyres. There you see Formula Danny and Donoso is in the back of that particular shot. The field's still not, with the exception of, a non-runner had to take that very early start, and Wide Lilac as well. So they are out of commission. Garrix, look at that. Matt Sorensen and Garrix from the lead come out 14th of 15th. Goodness, that's just how quickly it can, how quickly your fortunes can change. The only man not on soft tyres is actually White Lilac. He's on the ultra softs according to the overlay. If that is incorrect, I do apologise for that, but that is what the overlay is saying. So we're keeping an eye then. Let's keep an eye on the battle for the lead. And there it is. Freischneider has fended off the advances of the Red Bull of Wycombs for quite a number of laps now. On lap 12 now, coming into the long right-hander of turn 11. Through 12. Oh, and the tail just started to let go on Freischneider's car. But he's hung onto that fairly well. Now through 14. It's going to come into the very slow right-hander, the final turn. What can Wycombs do? Can Freischneider continue to defend? There is Carey. You expect Carrington to start to close in, but nobody is on his tail, just outside of DRS range of the Williams. Donoso getting his name on the fastest lap board. Nicely done. He is chasing the Mercedes of Formula Danny. There you see Haddad and Tunisia. They're very close together. Oh, Donoso. No, don't do it. Well, he has done it. This is such a tricky track. It really is catching everybody out. Garrix gets his name on the penalty board as well. So this race could well come down to penalties. We have seen it before. Yeah, even the greats make mistakes. And it doesn't know, Wycombs just doesn't seem to have an answer. Freyschneider has what it takes to keep the Red Bull behind on the straights. As Whiteliner gets himself another penalty. I should have brought a notepad and pen to make a note of the penalties. Into the long sweeping turn 10 for the top two. Carry is closing in, and that's Donoso and Nobody. They were very close together. Briefly swapped positions, but the Force India remains ahead of the Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso much more worn tyres than the Force India, but is staying in contention with him. Has gotten himself well and truly in DRS range, as has the Force India on the Mercedes. So that's a fabulous battle of 4, 5 and 6 that is in place. Oh, a bit of a twitch there from Nobody. He just lost a little bit of momentum. Is just about hanging on to DRS from the back of the Force India. A fabulous drive off the back of that final turn as ATR Nobody brings that car in after 12 laps on those soft tyres. Probably a little earlier than initially expected, but few people trying very different things. So that has very much released Donoso to attack Formula Danny. There you see Carrington, 1.8 between himself and the Mercedes. Formula Danny does not have any such luxury from Donoso though. Oh, keep it on the white lines. It's so... because it's the corner is upon you so quickly. If you start it wrong, you're flying off the road. Tunisia staying with... I wouldn't think Tunisia will attack his teammate too hard. But you never know. They've had disputes before. And we'll see how to defend that. Well, he didn't make it easy for David Tunisia, to be fair. Oh, no. Nobody gets his name on the penalty board. He's done his 16th after his pit stop. Oh, wow, straight back. At Tunisia comes Haddad. So there's no team orders going on there. In the background, you saw Chromatic, Timp, and Marek in a relatively short succession. The Haas on the back of the Williams. Goodness me. There is nothing... there is no letting them through. There's no letting his teammate through on this occasion. All that's really going to do is slow them off the back of Donoso, though. So that strategy may not be going too well. And Wycombs is in from second position in the race. The Red Bull of Wycombs brings his car in after 13 laps. Freyschneider continues. Donoso very close to the back of the Mercedes. Was in an attacking position coming into one. But Formula Danny slamming that door shut. Supersofts on for Wycombs. He's not banking on the rain arriving anytime soon. And fail it in again. So that's, well, I mean, those tyres are pretty much dead by now. And White Lilac in. Those Ultrasofts did him no favours whatsoever. Supersofts then for the Ferrari. But Donoso very much keeping the Mercedes honest. And look how early Danny went for that defending move. Well, they much defended fresh air. As Donoso didn't even was nowhere near close enough to defend that. And Freyschneider gets his name on the penalty board from the lead. Oh dear. The best of those tyres has pretty much gone. And again, keeping an eye on the Renault pair. They're still in a very short order. It's difficult to know where to look, because it's difficult to know who's about to attack. Donoso keeping... Again, I keep kind of wincing because I can just see, or it looks like the car's about to fly off the road. But again, these guys are in the top tier for AOR PC League. Anyone coming in? Yep, Freyschneider has brought his car in. He's had enough of those soft tyres, so Carrington returns to the lead. Of course, Danny can't really chase after Carrington as hard as he'd like because he's got a charging Force India behind him. Oh, that again brings Donoso close, but not in a position to attack. And Denani, let's try that again. Formula Danny knows how to defend. He's was part of the Mercedes esports team, so he'll have a lot of practice at how well to... Oh, but that's a long way off for Danny. He'll definitely have had a warning for that one. Just see Carrington at the top of the shot. They're staying in contention with the leading Williams, but of course not in DRS range. Is Donoso going to make a move this time? No, he's too far back unless he makes a hell of a dive bomb, which he doesn't. Coming in to 8 and 9. And non-runner in the wide line X, swapping position at the tail end of the field. Is Donoso going to make a move into... It would be a very brave move on the inside of 10. He doesn't go for it, but is he looking to try and shape up for the next corner? No. He gets out of the gas for that. All this pressure, though, is all part of the mind games. He's just keeping Danny on edge. All following similar lines. It looks like Donoso taking a tighter line through 12 than Danny on that occasion. Whether that's just personal choice or down to tyre life, they're all had the same. The Carrington's had 1 lap more on his tyres, but he is losing ground a little on the back of the Mercedes. Danny is reading him in ever so slightly lap on lap, but is, as you can quite clearly see, not in an attacking position at the moment. Into one. Oh, Chromatic is actually... Whilst that battle's going on, Chromatic's on the back of the Renaults. So we've got 1, 2 and 3 in a battle, 4, 5 and 6 in another one. Actually 8, 9 and 10, Marek, Matt Sorensen and Photon are in a battle as well. So we are well over halfway in the race and still lots of battling going on throughout the field. And keeping an eye on the timies, and that time between Danny and Carrington is getting ever so slight, it's shrinking slightly every single lap. Marek again, unfortunately getting his name on the penalty board. So Carey needs to get back on the pace. He can't rely on Donoso slowing Formula Danny down. Well, he did gain a couple of tenths on that slow section there, 8 and 9. And again, we'll see it was same as we did last lap. Oh, he's kept his foot in there this time. Donoso goes to the inside, going into 11. That's forced Danny out wide. But he couldn't hang on to the apex. Donoso had to get out of that. He just could not hang on for as long as he needed. Danny managing to hang on to the outside of turn 11. Brilliantly driven by both drivers to hang on to their respective positions. That has given Carrington a little bit more of a gap. Only by a couple of tenths, though. It's not something that wouldn't disappear in the blink of an eye. Were that the case, let's keep an eye on our next battle of 3. It's the 2 Renaults. Oh, again, a big kick of oversteer there for the McLaren. DRS then for Haddad and for Chromatic. We saw the 2 Renaults side by side previously, so they are racing each other hard. It's interesting to see that we used to see the Renault pair leading the way. Oh, Chromatic, no. That is going to drop you off that battle, unfortunately. Although Timp is lingering around the 3 second mark, so he may well not lose a position depending on it. It could all shuffle up when the rain falls. Bearing in mind we have been forecast rain towards the end of the race. But there goes Donoso again. DRS and slipstream coming into 8-9. He's done it again. That was how he overtook the Mercedes before, and he's done it again. Nicely done by Donoso. And can they now chase off after that lead Williams? Danny just did not have an answer for that. That was a fairly textbook move. Nice and clean then from Donoso, but we have seen his name on the penalty board already, so Danny may well just be biding his time. Not pushing too hard when you don't have to. All part of the... It's not just being quick, it is being sensible about it as well. So, fair play, that is what he's up to. Chromatic is getting close. Well, it's not that he wasn't close, he was before, but... he's remained close to the 2 Renaults. Of course, all it takes is one mistake if these two come together. That'll be 2 nice, comfortable positions then for Chromatic. DRS open once again for Haddad and Chromatic. And once again, just Haddad doesn't close in enough on the back of his teammate to challenge for that next spot. Tenise's tyres are a lap older than Haddad, and the same gap between Haddad and Chromatic as well. No obvious signs of rain. If you look towards the sky, the clouds are beginning to gather, but certainly no immediate threat of rain. So, again, sliding through that last turn. So it may well come down to who's going to be bravest with slick tyres on a damp track. Jumping back up to the top 3, though. Danny, exactly as we saw Donoso on the back of him. He's staying true, and now the gap between Donoso and Carrington is less than a second. Oh, Tenisa! One of the lead Renault has just got a penalty, so that again will shuffle up that particular pack. So Haddad will know that. Oh, and that's... Again, they look like the tail got a little line behind the end of the Mercedes, but not necessarily the case. Carrington, that lead has been ever so... It's been decreasing lap on lap on lap, and he'll be aware of that. Now the Force India will have DRS off the back of the Williams, as the Mercedes will off the back of the Force India. Yan again getting a penalty. Back down there in 16th position. He's chasing White Lilac. A shame for him. And this 3 really, really condensed as they come into turn 1. The battle for first, battle for fourth. Going on, Tunisia, a tiny bit of breathing space from Haddad, but not much. On board with the McLaren. Through 3, 4 and 5. He's having the pace at the right time that seems to be eluding either. Haddad's just staying behind his teammate. They've had a little bit of battle and now just remaining in place. Or he just doesn't have the pace when he needs it to overthrow his teammate. I would think it's the latter, because he's certainly been keeping the pressure on. If he was going to remain in, he was just going to stay in that particular position out of team orders, I wouldn't expect him to be that close to the back of his teammate. And oh, the lead has changed. Oh, goodness me. I was looking at the wrong place. Donoso has done an inside move on Carrington to take the lead. I apologise wholeheartedly for that. And there, Formula Danny. Oh. Unless that one lap of difference is really hurting Carrington, but now it's going to be down to can Donoso break away from the Williams and the Mercedes. Here we go again. I thought Donoso was coming in for a moment there, but I think he just had a snap of oversteer that pointed him towards the pit lane entry. 7 to go. No sign of rain yet, but the cloud cover is beginning to thicken. Oh, keep it on the road, Donoso, but Danny doesn't need to do anything silly. He may just stay there, knowing that at least Donoso and I think Carrington as well have penalties. Marek is in. What started so well for Marek in the Haas? What is he changing on to? Super soft tyres for Marek. So whilst that battle continues, is Danny going to try and move on the Williams? No. Too far back for that. Not so straightforward though for Chromatic. And again, you can see Haddad just keeping his presence known to his teammate. Again, if there was team orders going on, I wouldn't expect that. But again, Chromatic's just not where he needs to be at the times he needs it to try and challenge for that position. He's going to have to either rely on a mistake or just get a decent drive, or a better drive at least, than the runners ahead of him, which is no easy feat by any stretch. I mean no disrespect at all to Chromatic, but he's just... Oh, he's biding his time. Maybe he's waiting for the rain. Danny once again closing into the back of the Williams. Donoso had a very good drive coming off of that turn 15. Is Formula Danny going to try for a move again? No, a little bit too far back for that. Let's keep an eye on Chromatic. Chromatic could look to make a move on Haddad. Haddad defended that inside line very, very dramatically. Very much ensured that door was shut to Chromatic. But that's interesting. That's the first time we've seen Haddad feel the need to defend from the McLaren. Might we see Chromatic and then really keep the pressure on and start to challenge for that position? Because if he gets in the middle of the Renaults, any kind of team orders are completely wrecked, essentially. So that's going to be very, very interesting. 6 to go. Oh, quite a few more penalties cropping up as Danny and Carrington. That's a move through 8 and 9. The Williams trying to get back at him, but the Williams, if he can stay there, is going to have the inside line through 10. That's going to be very interesting. Can he hang on? Danny knows he's there. He's given the necessary racing room. Carrington very well defended. He's going to have the inside for that long 11. Can Danny jump back on the inside? He does. Oh, he couldn't quite commit to it. Brilliantly defended by the Williams to remain in second. Oh, wow. The Formula Danny dives on the inside of 12, giving the necessary racing rims a long right-hander for 13. That's not really the one we want. And there we go. Danny has finally managed to make that one work. It took him to turn 14 before he confirmed himself in second. But that's given 1.5 seconds to Donoso. Here comes Carrington again under DRS, keeping himself in the slipstream of the Mercedes, but not in an attacking position. And that pack again. Oh, Haddad! Now, Chromatic hadn't gone for an overtaking move. That looked like Haddad trying to attack Tunisia. It's not like the second Renault was trying to defend against the McLaren. Wow, that was a very much a statement of intent, I think, from Haddad to Tunisia. Garrix and Freischneider swapping position as well. Oh, Marek. He's reminding people he's still with us. He's down in 14th. He's got the fastest lap, 1:30.923. This is interesting. Again, Formula Danny. Can he start to reel Fabrizio Donoso back in? He doesn't want to let him get too far. He might well have a penalty, but he doesn't want to just allow him to run off. Because if, you know, Fabrizio Donoso has free run, he could, well, extend the gap far enough to to undo that penalty, essentially. I know I'm jumping around between the two battles, but you can quite clearly see why. These pair of three-way battles. Oh, Chromatic nearly introduced himself to Haddad. And again, Haddad feeling the need to defend that inside line into 12. It's not the optimal way to take that particular corner, but he felt the need to defend against Chromatic. We actually have a four-way battle, 9th to 12th as well, which hopefully have a chance to check in. And those clouds going very deep. Chromatic dives on the inside of 15 to split the Renaults. Oh, what a move. Can he hold him, though? There's Haddad coming straight back at the McLaren. Haddad, of course, going to have the inside for turn 1. How's it going to play out? Oh, that's very wide for Chromatic. Well done. Well played there by the McLaren to hang on to that 5th position. Brilliant effort. Haddad given the necessary racing room and not an inch more. And Chromatic up into 5th place. Nice work. Also keeping an eye on that lead battle. That lead is again descending. Same as we had previously. It would seem that the rain may not fall in time. Anyone banking on the rain may well be out of luck. Keep an eye. Where is Carrington? There he is. They've just come through 8-9 themselves. And no, Carrington not in a position to attack. Oh, Mads Sorensen, what a shame. He's in that. He's in a battle with Tim, and that's Chromatic and Tunisia. Oh, ghosted Renault. Didn't expect to see that. It's already Chromatic not wanting to lose any time behind the second Renault, who's been stuck behind the pair of them for a long time. And that has really split the two Renaults now. Half a second between Haddad and Chromatic. A non-runner again. Oh, that's a shame to see. Another one on the penalty board. Yellows in sector 2. Might that be White Lilac? Yep, we've lost White Lilac from the session, unfortunately. And Timp is not far off the back of this fighting trio. Chromatic over an outside move into 1. Can he get it done? He's been side by side with the other Renault there. Oh, get your elbows out, McLaren. He's shoved the Renault off the road. They're still going. Oh, Chromatic's done it. He has gone up into 4th. There may well be worse said about the move. And then Tunisia has had to defend from Haddad. Oh, wow. And that's Haddad shoving his teammate off. Timp is now right there as well. So, oh, Photon disqualified for being the wrong way. Oh, dear. That's not something you commonly see. He's had an incident in the pit lane, I think. He just changed tyres. Oh, big locker from Tunisia. He may well be struggling with his tyres. Then here comes Haddad. And again, the Renault Tunisia not letting his teammate through. And there you see Matt Sorensen and Timp. Wycombs and Freischneider all in their respective battles. We only have a few laps to go. And still intense battling. There goes Haddad on the inside of Tunisia. Coming into turn 11. Can he do anything into 12? Who's going to come out victorious from this one? It's Haddad. Daniele Haddad comes through into 5th position through turn 12. Tunisia, though, that extra lap of those tyres seems to be really hurting him now. There's Timp and Matt Sorensen just behind. What a great series of cars. That's 4th down to 8th in that battle. And still the Renaults are side by side. Now Tunisia attacking Haddad back again. coming into turn 1. Oh, it's a shame that camera doesn't go slightly further out. And Denoso. What a shame. He's just giving himself, if he didn't have a penalty before, that certainly does drop him out. I'm pretty sure that's the second one for the leader. 2 laps to go. The rain is not going to fall at a time that is going to disrupt this race, it seems. There you can see Matt Sorensen keeping the Williams of Timp true and honest. I think Tunisia is now concentrating more behind than in front, but then saying that he jumps on the inside of his teammate, and he does indeed. Tunisia jumps back up into 5th position coming into turn 8. I'm not sure Haddad was rather expecting that. Now here come the Williams and the Force India of Matt Sorensen and Timp respectively. Also the other Williams of Carrington is still right with Formula Danny, but keeping my eye. Oh wow! Tim dives on the inside of Daniele Haddad coming into turn 11. Wow, I don't think the runner was expecting that one. Through into 6th, that is Timp. And he's managed to close the door on Matt Sorensen, so that gets the Force India off of Timp's case. Goodness, that was absolutely fantastic move by the Williams driver. And again, a big snap of oversteer from Tunisia. And look at that, that's DRS, but I don't think the Williams is going to need it. That's long since through. There's Matt Sorensen on the second Renault. It is not going the Renault's way this time around. Matt Sorensen couldn't quite get the move done, or does he? He's still side by side. No, he slots back behind Haddad, or does he? No, they're still side by side. That's a battle for 7th, and the Force India of Matt Sorensen does get ahead of Daniele Haddad. I know there's penalties to play out yet for the actual positions. Oh, and that's Carrington that's got ahead of Formula Danny. Wow, that was on the exit of turn 7 along that long straight. Slipstream of DRS. That is Carrington up to 2nd position, demoting Danny to 3rd. But there are penalties still to do. We are on the last lap. So he's really going to be, once everybody's finished, then we'll know. It's not likely to be the order they cross the line in. But a fair effort then from Carrington. He has not given up on that at all. Oh, big wiggle from Danny there. But the win could well be inherited to Formula Danny. The link to the driver of the day is in the chat. Please get voting, get clicking. There's a lot of candidates for this, but here it is. The man crossing the line in first is going to be Fabrizio Donoso. But due to penalties, it's gone to Carrington. Alvaro Carrington has taken the win. There must have been a penalty I hadn't spotted for Formula Danny. He's in 3rd. Well, there are your top 3. Chromatic crosses the line in 4th. And then there's the shuffling of people again. Haddad is classified 5th. Timp 6th. Tunisia 7. Wycombe's 8. Matt Sorensen 9. Garrick's 10. Freischneider in 11th. Marek. Oh, what might have been for the Haas driver. Here he comes for 12th. The sole Toro Rosso of nobody. A shame for him. White Lilac has left the session. He's weaving away. Anybody is nobody. Jan Fehler again is rather undid for himself. But that's going to be 14th then for the McLaren. And rather lonely. He's just coasting along the line now. Along to the line rather. Oh, that's Carrington. Where is non-runner? Non-ultra-softs. In time for the rain to fall. And glides! Nice move from non-runner. The rain falls just in time for the podium to be displayed. For those that wanted the rain, it didn't come in time. Wow. Well, what a race it's been. The Williams of Alvaro Carrington taking the win. Donoso 2nd. Danny 3rd. I can't wait to see how the driver of the day is going to stack up. That's going to be fun to see. It was racing throughout the field. Apologies for the stream issue early on. Hopefully that tried to keep an eye on the numbers, but there was so much going on. I just couldn't look everywhere. And there it is. So Carre Danny and Haddad, the only people that didn't get a penalty in or certainly the top top 14. So Carrington taking the win for the Williams, Donoso second, Danny third, Chromatic fourth, Haddad 5, Tim 6th, Tanita 7, Wycombs 8, Matt Harrington 9, and Garrix rounds out your top 10. Okay, let's see who wants to talk to us, shall we? Okay, that wasn't the music I was aiming for, but it'll do. We'll have the cannonball run on during our interviews, why not? Okay. Let us have a look. No one has made themselves available for interview just yet. We'll give them time. So the race has not long ended. So we'll give them an opportunity to. As soon as I say that, Chromatic with a great fourth. Let's grab him over. Chromatic, hello to you.
Good evening.
How are you feeling after that one? What a! I was watching you a lot of the time. Really. Were you holding back behind the Renaults? Were you waiting back? Were you struggling to kind of get the pace at the right time, or were you just timing your attack properly?
I don't know. It was really hard to stay behind them before the Mistral back straight. So I couldn't really overtake them. So then, okay, let me just stay behind them, let them carry me, so I can save some ERS, get the DRS. And then I saw the opportunity on Daniele. I took it. It worked out. And I was faster than Tunitz as well, so I think the lap after that, I got him as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with fourth. I guess I won the non-esports guys race. they were in another planet. They just 10 seconds in front. Yeah, it's really good.
Stunning stuff. Well done. Absolutely well done. Great effort. So it was great to see. It was difficult to keep up with all the fighting going on, but. Great effort, well done for you. Wow, a lot of people now making themselves available to talk to us. Let's grab them all over. Let's interrupt the conversations. And I think I managed to get somebody. Right, let's have a word with. Who shall we pick first? Timp, let's have a word with you. Hello, Tino. Tino, are you with us?
Unmute your mic, by the way.
Yeah, but it seems that Timp is transmitting nothing. Hopefully we'll be able to come back to you. We'll have a word with Timp a little bit. Let's grab Formula Danny. He's joined us as well. Hello to you, sir.
Hello, guys.
How are you feeling after that one?
I mean, I really wanted to get the victory, but it is the same feeling for Fab Racer and Alvaro as well. My tactic was really just to save the tire, save the ERS, and maybe at the end of the race to be in the best shape. I saw these guys were pushing very hard, but for some reason I didn't find myself having an advantage at the end of the race, and I couldn't attack, and Alvaro had a very, very good top speed and overtook me at the last lap, and exiting the last corner I was out of fuel as well. Which is a shame. I really messed up that strategically, because I could have finished in front of Fab Racer as well, because I heard that he has penalties from Jeff. But yeah, I think I have to be happy for the P3 now, and we still have many races left this season to fight back.
Very true, that we do, and we look forward to seeing you in those battles. Let's have a go with Fabrizio Donoso. Force India coming home in second. How are you feeling after that one? You look like you really had to fight hard for that.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, well, starting from the quali P6, I think, P5, I don't remember. What was perfect, but I knew that I had the pace to win the race. I made few position at the beginning, and after the pit, I saw that I was catching up to Danny, so I stayed in behind Danny so he could catch Alvaro. And then when I thought that the gap was enough to pass Danny and not lose the advantage to Alvaro, I decided to make the move, and yeah, it worked. But yeah, I cut it too much. That's the point where I have to improve a lot. But yeah, the pace was there. I was really happy about that race, apart from the penalties. And GG to Alvaro and Danny, who made a really clean battle to the end.
Awesome stuff. Well done, Fabrizio. And we look forward to the rest of the season. So, without further ado, over to our race winner, Alvaro Calaton. That was a great battle. You must be quite happy with that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy because so many bad races here, and finally I had a good one. I had a really nice battle with Danny. He was really fast today, and also Fabrizio, who came back from P6. I pit a lap earlier in lap 9 to secure my place, and then yeah, they pitted one lap after that, sorry, and they were faster than me in the short stint, but for some reason I managed to get the win. That was really happy.
Awesome stuff. Well done, and look forward to the rest of the season. Many races to go, and yeah, cannot wait. Also, we have with us Daniele Haddad, one of our Renault pairs. You had a lot of fighting with your teammates for most of that race. Was there any team orders going on, or was it a case of you were fighting each other just the whole way?
No. We are going to fight all the races, of course, because we are for now first and second in the lead. So we want to win the race. We want to be competitive every week. So no team order. We have to race. About me, I'm not happy at all for the race of today. I could have done something better, especially in quali, and I lost too much space from Fabrizio at the start of the race, and so here, without saving earth and fuel, is not so simple to catch those fast guys. So I'm happy for my result at the end, even if I was 4. But I lost too much in the last few laps with the battles, and everybody had the penalty. I didn't have the penalty, I knew it, and so I was just saving my pace. Huge congratulations to the top 3 and even to Crow. They've done really an amazing job, and they deserve what they gain, like always.
Great stuff, very gracious of you, and yep, we look forward to the rest of the season. Speaking of Chromatic, he is your voted driver of the day. Great effort from our McLaren driver. He has been voted driver of the day for today, and that is going to bring an end to our stream for this evening. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. A great pleasure to commentate for you guys. Thank you very much to our drivers for putting on an absolutely fabulous display. It has been brilliant to commentate on. Thank you very much for you guys. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, that continue to support the league. Without you, our growth would simply not be there. And we will see you back here for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and good night.